These semi-variable costs are there. They also vary, but not in a direct proportion with the variable cost. Once we arrive at the cost of the product, the next factor which will be decisive of the price will be the utility of the product. Whenever we think about the cost of the product, the total cost will be taken into consideration. So we all know that the product has three types of benefits, that is the functional benefit, psychological benefit, and the social benefit. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence. In this session on marketing, I will be continuing my discussion on packaging. What is packaging? What are the different kinds of packaging we have? And then the various other aspects of marketing. Now, let us look into what is the meaning of the word packaging. Now, as we all know that one of the latest developments of the business community is packaging. So, we have been very successful in packing those things which we thought which could not be packed, like milk, ghee, pulses, sugar, salt, etc. Now, everything, whether it is a food product or any product, it always comes in packages and it is branded. Now, this kind of branding and packaging has become a very important aspect of the marketing mix. Now, whenever a product is packaged, it will give protection to the product, and also it will ensure that there is proper identification of the product. Now, let us look into what is the meaning of the word packaging. Packaging refers to the act of designing and producing the container or wrapper of a product. Packaging plays a very important role in the marketing success or failure of many products, particularly the consumer non-durable products. Now, it is the act of designing and producing the container or wrapper of a product. Now, packaging. So, whenever we think of a package, so if it is a toilet soap, so it comes in a package. So, one paper cover will be there. Now, the design of the paper cover, the color which we are using, so all this will have to be thought of very carefully whenever we are deciding about the packaging, because it plays a very important role in marketing success or failure of many of the products. So, whenever we have to think of the success or failure, the packaging becomes very important. So, we have to decide very carefully about how the packaging of the product will be. Then, next, let us see about the various levels of packaging. So, there are three different levels of packaging. Now, in this, the first one is the primary package. Now, what is the primary package? It refers to the product's immediate container. In some case, the primary package is kept till the consumer is ready to use the product. For example, the plastic packet for socks, whereas in other cases, it is kept throughout the entire life of the product. If you can see here, the primary package, it refers to the product's immediate container. So, whenever you purchase something, it comes with a container. Suppose if it is a soap. Now, if it is a toilet soap, it comes with a wrapper, that is something which is a paper cover which will be wrapping the soap. Now, when we have to make use of the soap, we just remove the wrapper and make use of the soap. But then there are certain containers which will be there till we use till it gets over. Now, for example, you purchase a bottle of oil, then you will be using that, keeping that bottle until that oil gets empty. So, in this same way, we have the plastic packet for socks or the toothpaste. The tube will be there until the paste gets over. So, that tube we call it as the primary package, or it is the immediate container with which the product is being sold. Then, the second level of package is the secondary package. Now, what is this secondary package? It refers to the additional layers of protection that are kept till the product is ready for use. Example, a tube of shaving cream usually comes in a cardboard box. So, when the consumers start using the shaving cream, they will dispose of the box but retain the primary tube. Now, if through this example, I hope you are able to understand what is the secondary packaging. In case of a toothpaste, the toothpaste tube will be in a cardboard box. Now, that cardboard box is the secondary package, whereas the tube will be the primary package. Now, next level of package is the transportation packaging. It refers to further packaging components necessary for storage, identification or transportation. Now, there are so many toothpaste here and they will be about in each rut box about 100 to 200 paste will be placed and then they will be transported. So, in this way, it is a further packaging component necessary for storage, identification and transportation. So, for all these things, we need to have another rut box into which all these components go. So, for example, the toothpaste manufacturer may send the goods or retailers in corrugated boxes containing 10, 20 or 100 units. So, in each corrugated box, they will be selling 100 units of this product. Now, whenever goods are packed in corrugated boxes, so it is for the convenience of transport. So, the manufacturer will see that in each box there will be 10s, 20s or 100 units of the product and they will be transported to other retailers. So, in this way, we can see that packaging has three levels, that is the primary level, secondary level and third one is the transportation package. Then next, let us discuss about the importance of packaging. Now, first one is the rising standards of health and sanitation. So, because of increasing standards of living in the country, more and more people have started purchasing packed goods as the chances of adulteration in such goods are minimized. Now, we can see there are a lot of food products which are available in tinned and sealed products. Now, because of rising standards of health and sanitation, people are being more and more conscious about their health and they are more and more conscious about what they are eating. So, in such a situation, so whenever we purchase food in packed or sealed containers, we know that they are not adulterated and they are packed with the highest hygiene standards and hence these are becoming more and more popular nowadays. Then next one is self-service outlets. Now, the self-service outlets are becoming very popular, particularly in major cities and towns. Because of this, some traditional role assigned to personal selling in respect of promotion has gone to packaging. Now, in the self-service outlets, there will be no salesman to just give us the product. So, whatever is arranged on the shelf, it will be directly picked by the customer and he will be just using it for his along with his other shopping things, he will be just putting it there. And then this self-service outlets, they have replaced the personal selling. That is, the salesman before in the shop, he used to just give us all the products from the shelf. But nowadays, self-service outlets are becoming very, very popular, because of which we need to have proper packaging, because with an attractive packaging, it is easy to sell the products. Next importance of packaging is innovational opportunity. In the area of pharmaceuticals, soft drinks, etc., lots of new innovations have come in respect of packaging, as a result of which the scope of marketing of such products have increased. Now, if you can see here, in the area of pharmaceuticals and soft drinks, a lot of innovations have come into existence. Now, before we just had the soft drinks coming only in glass bottles, but nowadays we have them in plastic bottles also, and we have them in tins also. So, all these are latest innovations through which there is scope for marketing of these products. Then, the next importance of packaging is product differentiation. In product differentiation, we can know the product differentiation by the packaging in which the product is coming, like the color of the package, the size, the material, etc. It makes the real difference in the perception of the customers about the quality of the product. Suppose the paint, or suppose for example the hair oil, the type of package in which it comes, it will decide about the quality of that product. So, in other words, packaging helps in product differentiation. The next function of packaging is product identification. Packaging helps in identification of the product. So, with the help of the package only, we will be able to identify what kind of a product it is. Then, next one is product protection. Packaging protects the contents of a product from spoilage, breakage, leakage, pilferage, damage and climatic effect. So, whenever the products are packed and sealed in a bottle or in a tinned can, so there will be no room for any spoilage, leakage or breakage of such products, and as a result of which the product will be protected. Then, next one is facilitating use of the product. Now, the size and shape of the product should be such that it should be convenient to open, handle and use for the consumers. So, whenever we are using the product, the shape or the size of the packaging should be such that it will be convenient for the customer to make use of the product. The next function of package is product promotion. Packaging is used for promotion purposes. A startling color scheme, photograph or typeface may be used to attract attention of the people at the point of purchase. In self-service stores, this role of packaging becomes all the more important. Now, this packaging is used for promoting the products. Now, this product promotion, how do we do this product promotion? Through packaging. So, we will be using a color scheme, photograph or a typeface to attract the attention of the people at the point of purchase. So, when the people go to the shopping mall to buy a product or they go to the shop to buy a product, then they will be attracted to the color scheme or the photograph or the typeface, and this plays a very important role in promotion of that product. So, in this way we can see that the functions of packaging are many. Then, now let us understand what is the meaning of the word labeling. Labels are useful in providing detailed information about the product, its contents, method of use, etc. Now, whenever we purchase a product, there will be a label attached to the product. Now, this label will contain about the contents of the product and how the product is to be used. Now, let us look into what are the various functions of the label. So, it describes the product and specifies its contents. Now, with the help of the label, we will be able to know what goes into the making of the product. So, what are the ingredients they have used to make the product, and also how the product has to be used. So, this is one important function of labeling. Then, next one is identification of the product or brand. Now, this identification of the product or brand, suppose if it is a packet of a biscuit or a packet of chips. So, with the help of the label, we can know what kind of a packet it is or what is the brand name of that biscuit, whether it is Marie, Marigold or Vita Marie, or whether the chips is Uncle Chips or Lay's or anything. So, we have different brands with different labels, and these labels help us to identify the brand of each product. Then, next is grading of products. Now, in this grading of products, we should understand that there are certain products which are for a specific use. For example, we have the Horlicks brand, or it is a health drink. Now, this Horlicks has been graded for different ages, like for Horlicks for women, Horlicks for children, Horlicks for various flavors like chocolate Horlicks, then we have the Badam Horlicks. So in this way, we can see that this brand of health drink has been graded in different flavors, graded for different ages, etc. Now, this kind of grading helps the consumer to know what he exactly needs. Then, next function of labeling is it helps in promotion of products. Now, how it helps in promotion of products? Because in the product only, whenever we visit a mall and we see the products which are displayed there, we'll be able to see 25 grams free or 50% off or extra or a toothbrush free along with this package. So there are certain things which are attached to that brand, and this we will be able to know only with the help of this labels. So the labels will be used for promoting the product or in sales promotion measures, that is buy one get one free, or if you buy a toothpaste you get a toothbrush free. So in this way it helps in promoting of the product. It can be done very easily with the help of labeling. Then the next one is providing information required by law. Now, what do we mean by information required by law? For example, if it is a food item, then we have to say whether that food contains non-vegetarian items or only vegetarian items, and in addition to that, we have to also mention the date of packing and the weight of the product which we are selling. In addition to all this, the government has made it mandatory to note that the preservatives which are used in the product, they have to be of a very safe and they have to be of a very high standard quality. So all these are certain things which are regulated by the government, and these things have to be taken care of whenever we have a labeling for the product. And when we label the product, we have to see that we abide by the regulations of the government. Next important thing is pricing. When a product is bought, some money is paid for it. This money represents the sum of values that consumers exchange for the benefit or having or using the product, and is referred to as the price of the product. Now, whenever we purchase a product, we have to part with some amount of money in order to purchase the product. Now, this money which we are paying to the seller to just buy the product, that is what we call as pricing. So it represents the sum of values that consumers exchange. So the price which you are paying, it is the sum total of all the values the consumers exchange for the benefit of having or using the product. So to use the product, he is giving some sort of a value to the product and then purchasing it. Now that value which we are paying, that we call it as the price of the product. Then price may therefore be defined as the amount of money paid by a buyer in consideration of the purchase of a product or a service. So whenever we refer to the price is nothing but the money paid by the customer to the seller of the product. So whenever the seller has sold the product, the customer has to pay him some money, and that value which he pays, that we consider it as the price, and that is the price at which the customer has purchase the product or service. So it is often used as a regulator of the demand of a product. Now, pricing is the regulating factor of demand. Now, why do we call price as the regulating factor of the demand? Because as and when the price rises, the demand keeps on falling. So, the price and demand are inversely proportional to each other. So, they have an inverse relationship existing. So, when the price rises, it will be very costly for the customer to buy that product, and hence he will have to forego the product. But when the price falls, the customer will make more and more use of that product, and hence we come to understand that pricing is a regulator of demand in the market. Then next, pricing is considered to be an effective competitive weapon in the conditions of perfect competition. Most of the firms compete with each other on the basis of this factor. Now, this pricing factor is an important factor whenever there is perfect competition. Now, when there are rivals for a product, so when there are perfect rivals, then the last resort will be the pricing factors. Now, if one of the products manufacturer reduces the price of his product, then it will be soon followed by the reduction in the price of the other manufacturer. So in this way, this price war is a most important competitive war which is being used in the marketing fields. Next, let us understand what are the factors which affect the price determination. The first important factor is the product cost. One of the most important factor affecting the price of a product or service is this cost. A firm cannot survive unless at least all its costs are covered. So, a product cost is one of the most important factor affecting the price or a service. So, what is the cost of manufacturing? What is the cost of raw materials, the labor and the power and all other things which have gone into the manufacturing of the product? So, that will be the actual cost of product will be the main deciding factor of the price of a product. So, they are broadly classified into three types of cost, that is the fixed cost, variable cost and the semi-variable cost. Now, let us see what are the fixed costs. Fixed costs are those costs which do not vary with the level of activity of a firm, say with the volume of production or sale. Now, we all should understand that there are three types of cost, that is the fixed cost, the variable cost and the semi-variable cost. Now, the fixed costs remain constant for any level of production. So, whether you produce 1 lakh units or whether you produce 10,000 units, the fixed cost remains the same. Then, the variable cost will vary to a certain extent, whereas the semi-variable cost, they depend on the level of production. So, in this way, we should understand that these costs vary in direct proportion with the level of activity. They are called as variable cost. For example, the raw materials. So, for manufacturing 1 lakh units, we need to have an equal proportion of raw materials to manufacture 1 lakh units of the product. Then, semi-variable costs are those costs which vary with the level of activity but not in direct proportion. So, these semi-variable costs are there. They also vary but not in a direct proportion with the variable cost. Then, the total costs are the sum total of all the fixed, variable and semi-variable costs for the specific level of activity. So, the volume of sales or quantity produced. Now, whenever we think about the cost of the product, the total cost will be taken into consideration. Now, in this total cost, it is inclusive of all these costs, that is the fixed cost, the variable cost and the semi-variable cost, and all this will be deciding the factor for the volume of sales or the quantity produced. Then, the next factor affecting the price determination is the utility and demand. While the product cost set the lower limits of the price, the utility provided by the product and the intensity of the demand of the buyer sets the upper limit of the price which the buyer is prepared to pay. Now, the utility and demand. Now, once we arrive at the cost of the product, the next factor which will be decisive of the price will be the utility of the product. Now, how the product is useful and how the customer is being benefited by the product. So, that all that will decide the upper limit. So, the upper limit of the price will be decided by the intensity of the demand of the buyer. So, how keen the buyer is on purchase of that product. So, that will set the upper limit of the price of the product and which the buyer would be prepared to pay. So, the lower limit will be decided by the cost of the product, whereas the upper limit will be decided by the intensity of demand for the product. So, the buyer may be ready to pay up to the point where the utility from the product is at the least equal to the sacrifice made in terms of price paid. So we all know that the product has three types of benefits, that is the functional benefit, psychological benefit and the social benefit. So whenever a customer is making a purchase, he will be looking into all these kinds of benefits and then he will be paying the money for that product. So whenever he pays a money or whenever he purchases for a product, he will be looking into all the benefits and then he will be ready to part with the money. So the sacrifice made in terms of money should be equal to the satisfaction he derives from using that product. So this is the second important factor in price determination. Then third one is extent of competition in the market. The price will tend to reach the upper limit in case there is lesser degree of competition, while the conditions of free competition, the price will tend to be set at the lowest level. Now, in the extent of competition, suppose there are no competitors for the product and it is a monopoly market, then the manufacturer will be in a very comfortable position. He can charge any price for the product. So we should also analyze the various business environment in which the product will be in the market. So whether it is a monopolistic market or a monopoly market or a perfect competition, then we can also decide about the price of the product. The competitors' prices and the anticipated reactions must be considered before fixing the price of the product. So when we decide about the price of the product, the competitors' products, their prices, etc. should be taken care of, and only then we have to decide about the prices of the products. Then factors affecting price determination, the government and legal regulations. Now, what do we mean by government and legal regulations? So, in the interest of the public, the government, in order to curb some unfair price fixing and unfair trade practices, it comes down heavily on deciding on the price of a product. For example, if it is a very life-saving drug and it has been manufacturing by a sole manufacturer, then the government can always fix the price at which that drug is being sold, so that it is within the reach of the common man who can make use of it easily. So in this way, the price factor will be decided by the regulations which are fixed by the government on certain commodities, so that it is affordable to all sections of the community. Then the next factor affecting the price determination is the pricing objective. Now, what are the pricing objective? Obtaining market share leadership. Now, if the manufacturer is having the objective of having a greater market share, then he can always go in for price cutting, so that when he reduces the price, it becomes more attractive to more customers and they come in and purchase such products. Then second pricing objective is surviving in a competitive market. Now, what do we mean by surviving in a competitive market? Now, if the manufacturer's product is finding it very hard to survive in a competitive market, or if there is an introduction of a new substitute of that product in the market, then the manufacturer will have to reduce the price of the product so that he will survive in that competitive market. He may have to resort to promotion campaign, etc., and to see that he liquidates his stock as fast as possible. Then the last one is attaining product quality leadership. Now, what is this product quality leadership? Now, if the manufacturer is offering the products of a very high quality, then higher prices can be charged because of higher quality and also high charges of research and development. So the customer will be prepared to pay something extra because he is getting the product of a very high quality. So this high quality which is being offered to the customer, it will be the deciding factor for the price of the product. Then next one is the marketing methods used. So what are the various marketing methods through which the product is being marketed. It may be the type of salesman which we are using, the type of advertisement which we are doing, the type of sales which we are doing, whether we are doing door-to-door sales or whether we are selling through retailers or whether we are selling direct using direct selling. All these things, they will be affecting the price of the product. So the kind of marketing method we are using also will be the deciding factor for the price of a product. Hope you have all understood this session on marketing. In this session, we have discussed about the various aspects of marketing like the labeling, the packaging and the pricing of the product. Thank you.